Have you ever canceled a camp out because you saw rain in the forecast? I camp somewhere between 20 and 50 nights every year. And I can tell you from personal experience, I'm constantly checking that weather forecast leading up to the camp out. What I'm looking for is to see, how hot it's going to be, how cold is it going to be, and perhaps most importantly, what are the chances for precipitation? Now, I camp in Texas. I rarely have to worry about snow. I do look forward to someday to get a chance to do a snow camp out, but I'll probably have to travel someplace else to experience that. We do get a lot of rain, particularly during our optimal camping seasons here in Texas. When the rain season stops, it tends to get really hot, and I tend to stay home during those hot summer months. So when I'm camping in the fall, fall, winter, and spring, rain is just part of the equation. And so what I want to know is three things. When is it going to rain? Were you expecting a rainstorm on the day of the trip? And if so, can I wait it out, just delay leaving for the campsite a few hours? Or perhaps I can get there a couple hours early and set up camp before the rain comes? Or if it's going to rain during the trip, is it going to rain on the last day? Is it going to rain on the day we're planning to leave to come home? And if so, at what time? Maybe we decide to get up early and beat the rain before it comes. The other thing I want to know about the rain is what kind of rain am I expecting? Is this going to be a drizzle, a heavy downpour, or severe weather? Severe weather, got to take even extra precautions because the last place I'd want to be caught in a tornado is in a tent. When you go to pitch your tent and you're expecting rain, pay attention to where you place your tent. Ideally, we'd want to be on some kind of incline. Now, it does not have to be like a mountain. It can just mean something, a slight, gentle slope, so that the rain will go under our tent and not puddle under our tent. What we really don't want to be is at the base of that hill or incline because the rainwater will puddle down there. And a worst case scenario could even cause a flash flood. This is also why I like to bring a large tarp with me, because if I do have the setup, I can't wait it out. I can pitch a tarp and then set my tent up underneath that tarp so I know that my tent's going to stay dry, particularly before I get the rain fly on. Another benefit of having that tarp is we have a place to hang out besides our tent. Now, if you're going on a camp out with your friends, the last thing you want to do is be stuck in your tent by yourselves waiting out a rainstorm. If you can get a tarp set up, that gives you a place to congregate and hang out and have fun without having to worry about getting rained on. Another option is look for a campsite that has a shelter, particularly if you're camping at a state park or a national park. They often have some kind of fixed shelter site. These are not cabins in the sense of these are not luxury cabins. They're four walls, a door, and maybe a couple of screened in windows. But they will keep you dry if it's raining and provide a place for everybody to hang out with, again, without being stuck in their tents. Speaking of your tent, if you can, get a double wall tent. A double wall tent means that the inner wall is a mesh, usually a bug net, keeps the bugs out. And if it's a nice night, you can leave the rain fly off and just stare at the stars. Now, if it's going to rain, then you want to make sure you got the rain fly on, but a double wall tent typically does a better job of reducing condensation than a single walled tent. Make sure to bring a footprint with you. Now, it could be a footprint specifically made for your tent, or it might just be a tarp that you got at Walmart. If you're using a tarp, make sure it goes completely underneath your tent. Don't let the edges of the tarp stretch out past the tent. Otherwise, you could end up making a moat around your tent, which is a lot of fun if you're trying to do a Dungeons and Dragons campaign. Not so much fun if we're trying to enjoy a camp out. And I prefer to wear a full rain suit when I'm going camping. That way, if it does rain, it's a lot easier to keep myself dry. If it's not even a heavy rainstorm, I can hang outside still without getting wet. Also, if it gets cold, it's another complete layer for me to use, which I really appreciate if I'm on a backpacking trip where weight and space is at a premium. And don't forget to bring something to do if you're stuck in your tent during the rainstorm. Now, if it's that dark, maybe just go to sleep. But if you're still awake, hey, this is a good time to bring that phone with you. You can watch a movie, listen to a podcast. Maybe you like